On April the 19th, 2015, a young couple set out on their kayaks to visit Batman's Island when a storm hit and a terrible accident bestowed one of them. But what was thought to be an accident quickly raised suspicions of those around them. And to this day, people question, innocent or guilty. Hello and welcome back to Behind the Crime with me, Kaybon, here every Monday with a new case. Today's case is another mystery one, and to this day it's still debated whether the person involved is innocent or guilty. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's case. Angelika Graswald, who was 37 at the time of this case, came from Latvia. She moved to the United States in the year 2000 to work as a nanny. She didn't plan to stay in the US and was going to leave after she'd finished her nannying, but she decided to stay. Vince Viafore, who was 44 at the time of this case, was from New York. Him and Angelika started dating in 2013. They found they had a lot in common. They were both free-spirited, both very active, and both loved the water. Although at times, Vince could be a bit of a party animal. After only 2 weeks of meeting each other, Angelika moved in with Vince. And after 5 months of being together, they got engaged and planned to marry on a beach in Latvia. The events of today's case took place on April the 19th, 2015. Angelika and Vince had planned to kayak from Plum Point Park to Batman's Island, travelling along the Hudson River in their kayaks. The weather forecast had said that there was a storm due later on that day, but as they'd already planned it, they decided to go out anyway. The island where they planned to go is really, really beautiful, and there's some fabulous scenery. There's a lovely old castle, and they just wanted to spend some time there and take photographs and enjoy some time together. It was around 4:15 p.m. when they got to the island, and 3 hours later at 7:15 p.m, the storm started to brew and the sun was now setting. As Angelika hadn't brought a life jacket, Vince took his off and gave Angelika his, which was a little ill-prepared by Angelika not to bring a life jacket when they knew that potentially there could be a storm. And also, Vince was quite unprepared as now he had no life jacket, no wetsuit, and he also hadn't got the skirt around his kayak which would have kept water out. Before long, the weather had turned really, really cold, and by now it was quite stormy, and so the water was very, very choppy. Angelika says at this point, Vince's kayak overturned and he fell into the water, which if you think the water would have been very choppy and very, very cold at this point. They say that within 5 minutes you lose all fine motor skills. So Vince would have lost the ability to grab onto anything after about 5 minutes of being in the water. It was at that point when she saw Vince struggling in the water that she made a 911 call.
911, where's your emergency?
Hi, I'm in the Hudson River by Cornwall Yacht Club. My fiance fell in the water. Can you please call anybody?
You're by the Cornwall Yacht Club?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Angelika.
Angelika, what's your phone number? Tell me exactly what happened.
We are kayaking. My fiance flipped over. He's in the water right now.
All right, stay on the phone with me, okay?
I can't get to him. It's very windy and the waves are coming in, and I can't paddle to him.
All right, stay on the phone with me.
He's getting further and further away from me. He's gonna drown. Please call somebody.
Can you still see him?
Yeah, barely.
Does he have a life vest on?
Yeah, he's holding on to something.
All right. So he's above water?
He's in the water. Please hurry. I can still see him, but I'm getting further and further away.
Okay. But he does have a life vest on, right?
He has something that he's holding on to, but he...
Just after she placed the 911 call, Angelika fell in the water herself, but thankfully rescuers came and managed to pull her out. But they looked for Vince and his kayak and they couldn't see any sign of him or the kayak. In the days after Vince's disappearance, Angelika posted things on her Facebook, like her singing karaoke and a video of her cartwheeling, which people thought was a bit strange, seeing as her fiancé was missing, presumed dead. On the 29th of April, so this is 10 days after Vince had gone missing, Angelika laid flowers by where Vince had disappeared, and she was also accompanied by a detective. The detective said that Angelika said to him that she had deliberately sabotaged Vince's kayak so as to cause him to drown. The detective said that she told him that she'd removed the drain plug from his boat, and she'd also removed the ring which held the paddles together so that he would lose a paddle. Because of this, she was arrested the same day and taken to Orange County Jail, where she was interrogated for over 11 hours. Of course, Angelika denied ever saying this to the detective and said she hadn't said any such thing. So one of them was lying.
Well, I know
no, I didn't just watch him drown. I tried to do something about it.
What did you really want to say?
Yeah. If he did not say call 911, I would have paddled the out of myself and got to him somehow.
After even 11 hours in the interrogation room, she never outright admitted that she'd done this to Vince. She still protested her innocence and said that she hadn't sabotaged anything.
How long before you guys went on your kayaking trip did you take that ring? Was it the same day?
I didn't take the ring.
Bizarrely, the only thing that she said was that she was quite happy that he died and she was at peace with that.
When you watched him in the water, was a part of you saying, my worries are going away now, and I'm free? And were you almost euphoric that he was going to be gone? You felt that way?
She said that the relationship had been on the rocks because Vince was quite demanding. He was also sexually exploitative of her as well. She said that he wanted to have threesomes and things like that, and she was just not interested in that. So slowly over time, she started to get a little bit sick of him.
He always wanted sex, and
yeah.
You do sexual things?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
He wanted threesomes, porn, everything. Okay. And I was not ready.
She said she didn't do the things that he wanted her to do because that made her feel really uncomfortable. And because she wouldn't do them, Vince then said that he wouldn't marry her.
Did it upset you that he sort of switched, that he did not want to marry you?
Yeah, of course. Who proposes to somebody and then changes their mind?
After she saw Vince drown, she said that she had a feeling of euphoria and the fact that all her worry would now be gone, and that's the only thing that she's guilty of. She said that her devil side in her told her to leave him and let him drown, and that demon side of her won out because of the way that he'd been treating her.
What are your feelings and emotions knowing that this is about to happen? That when you're going...
I'm, like, ripping in two halves, you know, into the demon.
What's the demon side saying?
Demon side? Oh, it's not a good side. You guys don't want to see that side of me. That side was telling me, just me, like, really happy. See, we can do it, it's strong.
And the demon side went out?
No, because of the way he was treating me.
Partway through the interview, when the police had left, she did some yoga in the interrogation room, which some people thought was a bit strange, a bit bizarre behaviour. But to be honest, doing yoga could just be a way to make her feel calm. And so I don't think doing yoga or anything like that makes her seem suspicious in any way. It could just be how she deals with the stress. Interesting fact to note as well was 6 months before the kayak accident, Vince had added Angelika to his life insurance policy as well. So police thought this might be a motive for why Angelika would want him to die. After 11 hours, she still was adamant that she'd done nothing to cause Vince's death. All that she'd done was to kind of let him drown. But then again, she's a small woman, so how is she going to rescue a man in stormy, choppy water anyway? There really wasn't anything she could have done other than call 911, in my opinion. And the only thing that she was guilty of is feeling relieved when she thought that he could be gone. Police tried various tactics, like saying to her direct, "You killed Vince, didn't you?" in the hope that she would just admit it, but she didn't. She stuck to her guns and she said no, she didn't, but she did want him gone.
You killed Vinny, right? No, I'm asking you the question, and I want to hear it. I want you to tell me the truth.
I didn't want him.
Angelika, what is the true answer to that question?
All right, you need a statement.
What is it?
I wanted him dead, and now he's gone, and I'm okay with it.
In the following May, they found Vincent's body, and they also found his kayak about a mile away from where the accident happened. The drain plug was indeed missing from the kayak.
I didn't have that plug in there.
She didn't have it because I guess I had it.
Did you intentionally take that plug out because you wanted to set yourself free?
Please do.
Tests were done on drain plugs, and it was found that not much water gets in a drain plug hole anyway, so it wouldn't be enough to bring the kayak down.
She set out to a drain plug, in my mind, is ridiculous. I don't see that as being plausible at all. If she wanted to kill him by kayak, all she would have had to have done is basically capsize his boat and paddle away.
The autopsy confirmed that Vince had died from drowning. Despite so little evidence to suggest that Angelika did do this, she was charged and she ended up spending 2 years in jail. When it went to trial, she was offered a plea deal in which, if she said that she was guilty, she would serve 6 months in prison, or it could go to trial and she could risk getting life. She took the plea deal, but on the condition that she wasn't admitting to murdering him, but she was admitting to the fact that she could have done more to save him. She was convicted and got sentenced to 4 years. Once she got out, she was given an undisclosed amount from Vince's life insurance policy, and Vince's family are still convinced to this day that she should be in jail and that she definitely had something to do with their son's accident.
My son was a good man and everybody loved him, and we miss him very much. I don't ever want to see her again if I don't have to. 4 years for taking someone's life? No way.
Also, in the years after she was released, a strange picture of her underwater in a bathtub emerged, which is quite odd in the circumstances of how her fiance drowned. You would think she would be quite mindful of posting stuff like that. But again, that's not really anything to say someone's guilty of murder for. She since became a Christian and got baptised. And the last that was heard and reported on her was that she was living in a small cabin in Orange County, where she works to pay for her rent and room at a small camp that's connected to her church. So what do we think? I don't think there was enough evidence to convict her, because what evidence was there? There was a detective who said that she told him that. There was the missing drain plug, but it looks as if Vince probably already knew about that, and that wouldn't have caused the sinking anyway. They were ill prepared to go out, knowing that there was a storm on the way. So was that just stupidity? You can't really plan for that, because yes, okay, she took Vince's life jacket, but can you plan for the weather to become so stormy that your fiance falls in the water and drowns? Are you also risking yourself? Even though she had the life jacket, is she also risking the fact that she could have ended up drowned or in a bad way? Let me know what you think. Give me your comments down below and let me know if you think she's innocent or guilty. And I will see you in next week's video. Bye for now.